Good day. Today, in the National Center of Controlling Defense of the Russian Federation, we hold a briefing, and we would present the evidence on the use of financing and those who support terrorist groups operating in Syria and Iraq. We have here Deputy Minister of Defense Anatoly Antonov, Head of Operative Group of Headquarters of General Sergei Rudskoy, and Head of National Control Department General Mezentsev. Good day, dear colleagues. The international terrorism is the chief threat of our times. This is the threat which is quite real, and many countries, like Russia, know that firsthand. The so-called Islam State is the leader in the terrorist international. This monster of the international terrorism may be counterposed and it may be defeated. Within the last couple of months, the airspace forces of Russia demonstrated this. We are sure that to win over ISIS, we have to make strong blows on the source of its financing, as was said more than once by the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. Terrorism without money is an animal without teeth. Revenues from selling oil are one of the most important sources of the terrorist activity in Syria. They win over $2 billion annually and spend these funds to recruit fighters all over the world, providing them with equipment, weaponry, and that is why ISIS protects the source of criminal oil production in Syria and Iraq. The chief consumer of this stolen oil is Turkey. According to our information, this criminal business involves the top political leadership of the country, President Erdogan and his family. We pretty often said that it's very dangerous to play games with terrorists. The fire from one country may appear into other countries. We observe the situation in the Middle East. Today, we shall present only part of the evidence which show that in the region there is one team of bandits and Turkish elites to steal oil from their neighbors. This oil in enormous quantities in industrial scopes through pipelines and 1,000 trucks goes to territory of Turkey. We are assured, and today we shall present direct evidence that the final point of destination of the stolen oil is Turkey. Dear ladies and gentlemen, to cut the channels of finances is necessary. Without it, it will not be possible to fight with this terrorist organization. As Deputy Minister Antonov said, the chief source of the finances for terrorists is the illegal sale of oil products. To liquidate this channel, the airspace forces of Russia hit objects of production, storage, refining and transportation of oil products in the territory of Syria under control of ISIS. Within a couple of months, due to our hits, we hit 32 oil refining complexes, 11 oil refining plants, 23 stations of transporting oil. We destroyed 1,080 tank trucks. which transport oil products. So the turnover of this illegal oil production and transportation was reduced twice. The revenues of this terrorist organization from criminal business reached $3 million per day. You multiply it into 4 years. After our strikes, the revenues of terrorists went down to $1.5 million per day. But banned groups still receive financial support and weapons and armaments and other material support for their activity. Some countries, including Turkey, are directly involved in a large-scale ISIS business project, and they support terrorists. The General Headquarters of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation has direct evidence based on our air intelligence to the fact that Turkey is involved in this business. Today, we present only parts of this evidence. We found out 3 chief routes of oil transporting to Turkey from ISIS territory in Syria and Iraq. Western route reaches to Turkish ports to the Mediterranean. Northern goes to oil refinery Batman at the territory of Turkey. And the eastern joint is in Jizre. You will see all the chain of supply of oil products to Turkey, from production to refining. Western route, hydrocarbons produced not far from Raqqa by automobile transport at night time are transported to the northwest of Syria, then through Azaz at the territory of Syria and Reyhanli, the territory of Turkey, to Turkish ports Derkyol and Iskanderun. In this picture, dated November 13, in Azaz, we see the automobile road which connects Turkey and Syria. We see the equipment which transports oil products. In the A square on the Turkish side, we see 240 tanks and large trucks. At the B square, Turkish territory, there are many trucks which wait for the border crossing. Part of this equipment is masked for civil trucks. Similar is the situation not far from Reyhanli, not far from the despite military actions in Aleppo, there is a strong movement of transportation in both directions, and in the Turkish territory we see lots of trucks. This video shows how these trucks cross the border without any hindrance. These are bandits and terrorist groups, Jurhat al-Nusra, which allows large trucks with oil to cross the border. This transport is not checked on the Turkish side, and we see hundreds of such trucks. In the picture dated November 16 in Reyhanli, you see 360 tanks and lots of trucks not far from the Syrian border. In the B square, there are about 160 tanks which crossed the border. In this checkpoint, we see the movement towards Syrian border, and there are about 100 trucks. Space intelligence shows that after crossing the border, these tanks and large trucks with oil go to ports Dertyol and Iskanderun with specialized territories for tankers. Part of the oil is transported to ships and goes for refining outside Turkey, and part is sold at the inside market. The daily turnover is about 1 tanker a day. This pictures show the tanks waiting for reloading. There are 365 such tanks. In Iskenderun, about 60. The next route goes to Turkey from oil fields located at the right bank of Euphrates. One of the largest centers here, controlled by ISIS, is the Deir ez-Zor territory. Here we see many oil refineries. One of them you can see here. Here we see lots of tanks waiting for loading. Here you see automobiles or trucks located not far from each other. At this picture taken from the air, we observed 1,722 oil tanks. You have to note that from the beginning of our airstrikes on these oil infrastructure sites controlled by ISIS, the number of these trucks in columns reduced notably in this and other parts of Syria. And environment suffers also. There are oil lakes in the sand. This is the picture not far from Raqqa, and you see it on your screen. The trucks move to Kamishliya, and over there they wait for their turn. At the photographs here made in August this year, in this area we saw lots of hundreds of trucks which moving to Turkey and in the opposite direction. So lots of oil transported from Syria goes to Batman refinery, located at the Turkish territory, 100 kilometers from the Syrian border. The third route to Turkey goes from oil field in the northern western parts of Iraq through Karachok, Chamkhanik at the Syrian territory, and Itavan and Zaho at the territory of Iraq. These pictures shows lots of big trucks and oil tanks in these territories. November 28 in the area of Karachok, at the territory of oil transporting plant, we saw 50 oil tanks. These are August pictures in Chamkhanik. You see 380 units of automobile equipment. Nothing changed since that time. Our intelligence shows that there is a strong trafficking through the border between Syria and Iraq. Many such trucks are noted in the areas near the border of Turkey and Iraq. In Iran, Izaho, we made films and we saw the 104 big trucks. It's hard not to notice them, but to destroy them by coalition, well, it doesn't take place. So far, we only see the increase of a number of strategic drones. The hits made by coalition led by the United States of America do not take place. So full information about the sites will be presented at the site of the Ministry of Defense right after this briefing. As to the border territories of Iraq, the tankers move Iraqi-Turkey border in the Zaki area, and the oil goes to refining plants at Batman, which was already mentioned. or to large logistics centers on this route, which is located not far from Silopi. This is a picture taken from space, and you see the congregation of 3,000 tankers and large trucks. There is nothing to comment here. This is the scope of illegal business, and it's quite impressive. As a result, as per today, the criminal activity in oil sale, terrorists have no less than 8,500 tankers, which daily transport up to 2,000 barrels of oil. The Russian aviation will continue to hit oil structure of ISIS, and we invite our colleagues from coalition to do the same. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, you presented convincing proofs of mass and open stealing from sovereign countries, and I mean Syria and Iraq. Their energy resources are stolen. I want to attract your attention to the fact that financial streams from oil selling go not only for enrichment of high military and political leadership of Turkey, but they return to Syrian Arab Republic in big scopes by way of weaponry, ammunition, and fighters of all scales. Only recently, there were about 2,000 fighters or militants came in, about 26 tons of ammunition, about 250 units of automobile equipment of different destination. The Turkish side conducts such events for a long time and on a regular basis, and it doesn't plan to stop it. So our information about the volume and routes of supply by the Turkish side of equipment, ammunition, explosives, communication means and other material means, as well as training of terrorists, we shall provide to you later, next week. Dear colleagues, here we have a big number of mass media representatives, and our briefing will be shown to many more of your colleagues. In this regard, I would like to say the following. We know and value the work of journalists. We know that in journalist community there are many courageous people who perform their duty honestly. Today we presented to you how illegal oil trade takes place, which results in financing terrorism. We presented convincing proofs, which may be the source for journalist investigation. We are sure that the truth would make its way to the surface. We know the price of Erdogan words because Turkish journalists showed his lies already, and for this the journalist went to prison. The Turkish leaders would not retire. Mr. Erdogan would stay on, even if his face would be tarnished with stolen oil. And actually, our friends died from Turkish militants. You see what they do. They went to the other country and steal it. And if someone is in the way, he has to be destroyed. So retirement of Erdogan is not our goal. This is for the Turkish people to decide. Our purpose to close down the sources of financing terrorism by mutual efforts. We shall continue to present the facts of this stealing, how Turkey steals or robs its neighbors. Control over this stealing business may be given only to the closed ones, and nobody in the West asked the question why the president's son heads one of the leading energy companies and his son-in-law is the Minister of Energy. What a wonderful family business. Is this possible somewhere else? Such affairs cannot be given to anybody but to the closest ones. So far, Western media doesn't provide any assessment of this situation, but the murder will out. The dirty oil dollars would be working, and I'm sure that now everything what you saw here was falsified. If this is not there, let the journalists go and see for themselves. Today, we present only part of the information about monstrous crimes of Turkey elites, which directly finance the international terrorism. We think that any sensible journalist should fight against this crime of the 21st century. The objective journalist may be an efficient means in combating financial and corruption schemes. We call for our colleagues to conduct journalist investigations to reveal financing schemes to finance terrorism. And stolen oil goes to other region. The Ministry of Defense of Russia will continue to inform you about supplies of oil to other countries by terrorists and about our airstrikes in Syria. So let us unite our efforts. We would destroy the source of financing of terrorism in Syria, and you join this work outside our ministry.
Dear colleagues, everything we hear today at this briefing will be published on the official website of the Defense Ministry, both in Russian and English. We have our colleagues present here from the foreign mass media who were at the Khmeimim base and saw for themselves how it works out there, and will go on to inform the journalist community based on the impartial facts and efficient control. So we have information about the Russian Air Force base on Syrian territory, and will update these facts and publish all the updates on our official website. Thank you for your attention.